highlight that from now on.
Oh yeah, you put that in fuchsia, bro. You make
Thanks
sure
to
that
the
that's an
editing
emphasis of point.
process.
Yeah, that made them
Quantum
authors.
Eraser and Adam Meakin. That separates and Brian. That's right.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
right.
the Anne and fuchsia makes them authors rather than just Nathan pointing out that he was thankful for when they were supposedly helping them. Meanwhile, you were just trumped up editors and are now full of grand illusion and out to sabotage and backstab
what
your
you
friend
should do
and the
is
rest of us.
what you should do is listen to somebody sent me. I don't know how they found it. The debut of Quantum Eraser. And Nathan was on the show, and everybody listened to that. Oh boy! And it sounds like a very humble Nathan, and it sounds like a very thankful Quantum Eraser, saying how none of this. He is not the reason why this channel is here. He was pouring it into it and didn't know what the hell he was doing. But thanks to the people around him, especially Nathan Oakley, and then Betty also, yeah, Nathan, you're the one who was teaching him how to do the OBS and everything, Nathan. I mean, that was quite a
revealer?
freaking, yeah, quite a thing to hear. And Nathan was like, well, we're telling you because the information that you have, which, yes, we had information that was great at the time when we were. Now we're just saying that it's irrelevant. But, that's why they egged you to get a channel because, you bringing us back to the scientific method, what it was. They're great. Yeah, great information. But it's not it's not what Nathan was saying. It's what QE was saying that's interesting. For somebody to said that we put it together, me and Nathan, and I hear him saying, it's inconsequential of him, the channel.
Yeah.
Funny stuff.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful and it's more revelation that how this pathetic attempt at trying to rewrite history so you can push forth your backstabbing and your greed.
That's weird because I put it in Master B. I don't know if anybody's seen it.
Be unfruitful. You put it in Master B?
If anybody wants to take a check, go listen to that. It's the first Ballbuster show, I believe, when he was on his own. Not with Nathan, I think. I'm not sure. Nathan has to answer that. Yeah, because they were running the show the first time they were running it through Nathan's show. So this is the debut, right? Ballbuster's debut, show one. Quantum Eraser live debut. So to me, that's the first show.
The Little Listen one you state before Surf Daddy?
He said, this is in my days, this is theirs. Stand up and be recognized for your meritorious service. What say you? The first one he calls on is Nathan Oakley. Adam Meakin, great to be here. Pleasure to help a friend out always.
Oh, what a web you weave when you practice to deceive.
Yeah, he admits that he was stumbling around for 3 weeks trying to get it together.
Yeah, that's even in more detail what I knew.
That Nathan says it's all about sharing. Right now, I'm sticking it in Skype and sharing it around. See, Nathan's always been the same way. That's why, I'm got his back, because Nathan hasn't changed at all. Since day one to now, Nathan's been the same. Everybody else is freaking turning into other things.
Yeah, I humbly am keeping my honor, and that this is who I am.
I got to be honest. I didn't understand what Surf Daddy was talking about yesterday with the no guru policy. I mean, was there a time when he had a guru? Because that's it always be implemented, and like it's not something you just come to.
Yeah, but I get him that this is just how it is. There's nothing to force or convert or persuade or agree, disagree, or
Well, that's why I was pushing him on.
You let wind up merchant trolls get to you. Just the Lord keeps us from egregious suckers that want to be criminal about it. But other than that, no, they.
Well, I was asking him to give me
victory on
something
their
that
part.
I was asking him to give me something that
That's what it
wits
is.
it. Give me something that wits it. Freaking just explain to me. Tell me something good wits it did. The whole time I'll show you he's a lying sack of shit. So how can you tell me that at one time he was a great debater? I mean, he could fool a lot of people with his fast talking, and his fallacies that he uses. But I mean, what's it showed himself to be what he is? Lying sack of shit.
Well, that's the thing too. What do you call it? You start to get a touch that okay, he's sticking to what can be proven, and then he starts to go off in word salad, contradiction, la la land. You're bringing up measurements. Stick to the measurements. Stick to the measurements, dude. And or at a point like let's just say he hasn't brought them up. Then it's like okay, hello, get to them. But yeah, then he goes into la la land and agenda.
Witsit throws out the measurement as a freaking throwaway. He'll lead with it and measure it and never plant his flag there again to detail how it's measured flat. And he'll go into all of the nonsense and ramble 150,000 words, and he makes himself seem that he's so smart. It's like I never understand why people were ever bought into him. It's not even intellect. He reads portions of the book. Like Heaviside. Go look up all of Heaviside. The first page you read, that's what Witsit says. I challenge you to do that. You go read up on all of Heaviside, then go watch a Witsit video. And that's what he says. So he reads portions of things about people to make himself seem intelligent. With words like Gaussian.
Oh yeah,
Somebody throwing that word out the other day. Dr. David Banner.
Well, that's Lord bless David. That's when he starts going down that road. But anyways, like towards Witsit, yeah, it is that analogy towards you got this custom House of Colors paint job, that's all beautiful on the outside and aesthetically, wonderful. I mean, great shape shifting pearl job. Well, it's beautiful. It's awesome. It's great. But then it's on a piece of crap Yugo that ain't going to get you off the lot.
I think you'll find that Yugo will go on delivering exceptionally good service to its owner with strides of profundity.
Exactly, Nathan. There you go.
It's got a lot of miles on it. See, you don't understand.
Yeah, it just really irritates me when I hear things like that. It's like, really? You thought he was good? Wow. I don't know. I'm not sad. There's certain things that I could say, yeah, he did good there, but there's not that many. Most of the time, it's freaking verbal, freaking diarrhea.
Well, yeah, that's the veneer. That's the paint job I'm talking about. Yeah, you can just baffle people with BS. They'll just hype up a pseudo intellectual when you just needed to stick to reality. With the Earth being measured flat, and you just plant your flag there. Have a great day.
Well, look what's going on with that whole crew. He's lost his wife. They're getting divorced. Freaking Jaron lost his wife to a freaking pregnancy by his best friend. I mean, everything's just falling apart on them. I mean, listen, what you sow is what you reap, my friend. When you run around calling people scammers that aren't scammers, right? These are the things that are going to come back to you. So your other half scammed you.
Yeah, let's hope it happens to them all.
Well, hold on a second. I do not wish that. I know you don't. I know you're just saying it out there, but I don't wish evil on anybody. But when people start moving down a path, you could foresee what's going to happen. Because there's a universal law. God put that in place. What you sow is what you reap. If you're planting seeds of corn, do not expect radishes to come up. And everything these people are planted, they're planting seeds of deception. They're going to get deceived. They're planting seeds of betrayal. They're going to get betrayed. They're planting seeds of freaking, what's another thing that they're doing? Conning people? They're going to get conned. Planting seeds of backstabbing? You're going to get stabbed in the back. It's just the way it is, man.
Yeah, well said, Neil, yeah.
Nathan was telling us so.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, I got your message with it. I noticed them words in the tune last night, but I was just rushing to get it in the. I wanted to put it on the show. But I'll change them later so it pronounces the words correctly.
Q evil. Or Adam and Q Eve. That's the best. But Nathan was saying a story yesterday that I don't know if he wants it to be repeated. Let me not say anything. So only a few of us in here when he said it. But it was a certain thing that happened where he was very generous to somebody and the guy never thanked him, but then he asked him for something and Nathan sent him something anyway. I would have been like, drop the hammer on that son of a bitch and tell him to go screw himself. Freaking not thankful for anything, and now you're asking me? But that's me. Nathan was still kind enough to send the money anyway. I mean, some people, I don't get it. They do not get it. What's going on, One Deck? You doing any refrigeration today, or you laying back a little bit?
I've had trouble with my van. Won't bore you with all the details, but we use a company to book it in for a service because we've got a spanner on the dashboard. So they said, we can get someone around to your house now. If they can do it outside your house. I've never had that done before, but if that's the way we're going, then give me the time and date and blah, 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 blah. So RAC turned up and started looking at the front of the property. I've got like a little driveway, but it's got on a slope. So he said, can't do it on a slope driveway. We'll have to abort this and, you'll have to get into a garage. So, well, they never mentioned what the size of the driveway had to be, or did it have to be level? I said, so I'll bring that up with them. So I did that one day last week, and then they booked me into another garage. They got my postcode, found a garage not too far away for 9 o'clock on Monday morning. So I drove up, they were all booked in. So went in, give them my details, give them my keys. She said, we've just got to send an email off for authorization, and then we'll just get on with it. It'll be about 2 hours. So I didn't have a replacement vehicle, which is one thing I usually get. But they've changed the policy now. If the work's not going to be more than 4 hours, then you can wait for it. So there was nothing to do in this garage because it was a pokey old garage. So I walked into the centre called Bury, Bury, Lancashire, and I thought I'll find a cafe or get some breakfast or something like that. So I walked up, and the only place I could find, there was a few blokes stood outside this building. So I thought, oh, what's going on here? Anyway, it was a Wetherspoons. And the guy's waiting to get in at 9 o'clock in the morning was waiting to go in for a beer at 9 o'clock. So I ended up talking to these alcoholics, and I thought I'll go in here and get a brew and get a bacon butty or something like that. So I walked in, ordered a brew and a bacon butty, paid for it, and then...
Wait a second. You're going to have to explain what that is. A brew is a beer, and a bacon what?
No, a brew is a cup of tea.
Okay.
Yeah, the other guys outside were getting pints of Foster's.
Oh, okay.
At 9
what's the
o'clock
other
in the
thing?
morning.
A bacon what?
Bacon butter or a bacon. It's bacon. You know what bacon is, don't you?
Yeah.
Grilled bacon. Yeah, just on a sandwich or 2 pieces of toast. Just a bacon butter or a bacon muffin. So, well, I was looking around the place, and you get that musty smell, and when you walk in, the carpets are sort of sticking to your feet, and I thought,
oh,
I'm not looking forward to this bacon butty now. To tell you the truth, it wasn't too bad. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. I spent an hour and a half in there messing around on my iPad, doing some work notes and messing around on my phone. And then I walked back after an hour and a half, sat down, sat in front of the girl that took my details for 15 minutes. And then the guy come out and said, oh, we've not had any authorization back yet for your van. I said, and you're just telling me this now? After an hour and a half? You've got my phone number. Why don't you just ring? So I said, well, I can't sit here any longer. So I took my van, which has been in, I'm boring, you know what? It's been in limp mode. My van's been in limp mode. So it goes into a program where you can't go over 40 miles an hour. And it takes you about 3 minutes to get up to 40 miles an hour. So I can't go on any motorway. Yeah, it's letting you know there's a problem with the van, and you've got to get it into a garage, which I tried the Monday before. So, and now they can't do it because they've got to get authorization. So I'm not going to bore you anymore, but this van problem's been going on all week, and I've been having phone calls, trying to rebook it in.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I finally got it done this afternoon, but I had to drop it off at about 2 o'clock, which was the time of the show. So they definitely got on with it. So I was jumping in and out a bit before, and I was outside. So I've had van issues, mate. To cut a long story short, I've had van issues. So I'm not done.
So you've got vehicles that if something's wrong, it won't go over a certain.
Yeah, it's called limp mode. Limp mode. It just limps about. So it starts off gradual. So on the first day, you'll think, God, this hasn't really got any kick to it when you're on the motorway, moving through your gears and you're getting up to 70, 75 miles an hour or whatever. It's not doing that anymore. It's sort of hovering around 60, and it feels like it's out of gear. So you're going back down into 5th gear from 6th gear and trying to find, and then you're thinking, oh, this is in limp. And then the next day, it's getting worse and worse and worse. It's dangerous, really.
Is that an electric car or electric vehicle or gas?
No, it's diesel. I've got a Vauxhall Vivaro van. But I think they had problems with this van, with the engine problems, and a lot of them was going back for work. So I think they put this in before to stop the van sort of moving. So you got it into a garage before you had engine problems. That was the thinking behind it, I think. But now they do it if your service is overdue, they start doing it in that predicament as well. Because obviously some people go 100 miles past the service, and then obviously things can be getting, faults can start occurring, engine problems, and the problem gets bigger and worse. So yeah, we got this limp mode. I don't know if all vehicles do it, but this particular one does.
That's just a conspiracy theory now. But they would do it deliberately to stop you forces into the garage. But it made me laugh because this goes back to Apple computers. What they did is when there's a sensor that's not working properly on one of their laptops, it goes into what we call panic mode. So what it does is says, well, to stop it overheating, I'm going to turn all the fans up full, and then we're going to reduce the power to everything. So it'll work, but it'll just be really slow and noisy. And that's Apple. They've been doing that for years.
Yeah. I haven't, the vehicle I have not gotten an oil change since I got it. I got it with 113,000 miles on it. I think I got 124,000 on it now. I mean, that whole thing, I don't know where they got that from, that every 2,000 miles, your oil needs to be changed. And then they have this other thing they try to sell you when you go to get your oil changed, that they'll flush your whole system out clean. And I had a mechanic tell me, don't ever do that, ever. Because once you do that, you're going to have problems with things you never even thought you would have problems with. Leave the car. It's been running like that. Leave it. Just do your oil changes every 10, 15,000 miles, and you'll be fine.
Makes you wonder why you bother having an oil filter, really, if they're just going to have to flush it out. Well, the oil filter doesn't really work properly, so we still have to clean the engine.
Yeah, the mechanic, he's like, when I told him, he's like, don't tell me you did that. I said, no, I'm asking you. He said, no, don't ever do that. Don't ever do that. I was like, okay. They try to sell you these things, and it's like, I don't know. Just freaking, why can't everybody just be honest? What's the problem with that?
Makes me laugh when you see outside these garages in summertime, aircon top up, 65, 75 quid. Now, you shouldn't have to top your air conditioning system up because it's a hermetically sealed system, unless there's a leakage on there and the gas pressure has, escaped from the the sealed system into the atmo. So you've obviously got a problem if that's happening. So you need to find the leak, and it's not just a case of, it's getting to summer, I'm going to get it topped up. You should never have to top it up.
Never have to. That's right. My brother told me that. He's like, once you get it in, you should never have to. If you do, there's a problem somewhere. But they're scamming people and topping it off.
But to tell you the truth, I've been a bit devious in the past because, as in my younger days, a little bit more. But people say, "Oh, can you do the air conditioning in the cars as well?" I say, "Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I've got the gauges and that in my van." And will you top it up now? It's getting it. I said, "Yeah, I'll top it up for you. Put my gauge on. It's working all right. Just hook my bottle up, pretend to open my bottle, stand there for 10 minutes, and say, how much that cost one day? Oh, just call it the garage charge about 70 quid. Just give us 50 quid." See you later. Shouldn't laugh, really, should I? But I have done that stuff.
We did a lot of things in our younger days. If I could see, I say, why can't people be honest now? But Neil was not honest when I was in my 20s. Let's get that straight.
No.
I was freaking trying to make every hustle out there.
I can remember once, when in my 20s, I was doing someone asked me to look at a fridge. It was just like a Coca-Cola double door fridge in a shop. And I got up the ladder, it wasn't working. All it was the condenser, which is it's a fan, it's a coil with the hot gas in, with a fan behind it, a bit like a car radiator. The fan is cooling the gas, the hot high pressure gas down and changing it from a hot gas to a liquid. It's changing the state of it for its next trip down the expansion valve. It was just blocked with dirt, so it wasn't getting the airflow over the coil to change the state of the refrigerant. And then the compressor overheats and it keeps cutting out on its safety device. Blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I was desperate for some money for some reason, and I just said to the guy, I said, "Compressor's knackered." I said, "Well, how much are they going to cost me?" I said, "Well, a new one's probably going to fitted with the gas and the filter. You're looking at about 300 quid, for the new stuff." I said, "But I do know a guy. I can take it to him. He'll clean it up and he can, do a repair in the factory, and I can bring it back and put it on. So I took it off, went for a little drive in my van, and I polished it all up and cleaned it up, and then I went back and fitted it on, cleaned the condenser, and charged him £200.
Nice.
That was naughty, that. See, I couldn't do that. I wouldn't do that now, but I did do things like that.
Yeah, we used to pick and choose. Like when we were dealing with the real elite, like freaking where you go into these people's apartments in Manhattan and you're afraid to breathe. And you break your ass over there and they stiff you anyway, don't tip you or anything, nothing. So those are people we set our sights on, and anytime we can get over on them, we would. And then there was some that, you walk in there, they hit you with a Hyundai right away, boom. Just please do a good job. The last people that we hear mess it all up. No problem. We take care of them well, And I just think I don't think it's because they're cheap, because where they live tells me how much money. There's no way you can live in this and have this and that, and not have anything. So it's the upbringing. And we're brought up with my father and mother always tipped. If you came in the house to do anything, they tipped, So I noticed that the people that did tip, that when money was either new money, not like fifth generation, or they would just recognize, that you're in their house breaking your freaking ass. It's the only decent thing to do. But but those people, we freaking go in there and charge them for a basic repair. Like their carpet's opening up. You got to open up the seam and re-burn the seam with an iron. Well, all it is freaking a little piece of tape with hard glue on it. And you have an iron, a regular iron. Looks like an iron that you iron your clothes with. And it just heats up the tape. You run it through and you put the seam together. What is it? Don't cost anything. We charge them $150 and walk out the door. And like you said, I couldn't do that now because, my conscience would really bother me. But back then, I had no conscience. Trying to make money, trying to get where you are.
Yeah, so it's been a little bit of a crap. I look after so many sites. They're my responsibility. Yeah. These supermarkets, they're mine. And I'm responsible for them.
Yes, so you
doing
got to
the
do the right thing.
maintenance. Yeah, well, no, any parts that need, or I've got to order the parts, get the parts delivered to site, or go and collect the parts. You're more or less sort of self-employed, but working for a company, but you just left and you're trusted to get the job done. But, things like that when the van goes, I mean, if I'm on holiday, there's four of us in the team, we call in the cell, as we call them. So if I'm on holiday or not in work, someone will cover my stores between two of them. But I've not really been off, but I've not been able to get to any jobs properly. So I've got an iPad with my workload on there and jobs that I've got a target response date, target repair date, and that's all, looked at and put into KPIs and stuff like that. So, but I fell behind this week because of this bleeding van situation. So I'm going to have to put some, and I've only just picked my van up an hour ago, and it's nearly 5 o'clock. So I'm just leaving a site now where I just went to just check on something I did last week. I'm not going to be doing any jobs now, but I'll have to make an effort tomorrow to try and catch up and run around like a madman to get myself straight, because I don't like things piling up. I like to sort of be on top of things. There you go. But it's been a washout today in Manchester. It's just been rain, rain, rain. It's hailstone at one point.
Hey, wait a second. What happened? I didn't get the full story from you today. You joined their show yesterday and they just muted you?
Yeah, I thought I'm going to put this. I did this. I thought, because I seen it just wound me up with this release the tapes thing that you was. Thought, when are they just going to? It's bad enough what they've bleeding done anyway. And then, you know, they're doing a treatment on you and sewer rat, calling Nathan, making names up for Nathan. And
Nancy.
I know they've done Jedi and fucking, you know, AI over globe. I know that, but they're going a bit, that's all they're doing at the moment, just trying to just call people, name picking and you know, he's waiting, you know, my intellectual property is hoping something's going to be in Nathan's book, but somehow he can say that it's his, and he's just going to want to cause more problems. And I thought, you're a horrible piece of crap. So I just thought, his show's called Release the Tape, so I'll just make a song called Release the Tape. So I just sat there, thought, put them words together in 3 minutes, put it through I think it was a hip hop fucking genre thing, and it came up with that. I did notice some of the words wasn't being pronounced right, but I thought, well, they'll get the point. I thought I'll go on and just paste it in there, and then maybe go back on YouTube and see if they've what the response is. But I clicked on, instead of FED text, I put QE live chat, and ended up in the room by accident. So but I was already muted. I already had
Immediately.
the mute sign. Well, I don't know if it's automatic because that's what they've done to a number of us, or not. So I just sat there for a couple of minutes thinking, I wasn't going to fucking...
Did they mention that you were in there, or they didn't even bring it up?
Didn't even bring it up.
Yeah, you must have sent a shiver down their spine just being there.
Uh-huh.
If anything, they should have took you off and said, what have you got to say? Because I know on one of his previous shows, he was like, why don't you come on in here and tell me all about it? I said, yeah, you want me, don't you? You will not get the privilege of me going in there and handing you your ass. I know how you operate. You're just a thieving bastard. Just looking for... But what I did notice is this. There's people hanging around in their chat and then come out of chat, and what they want is to hear QE, and then they want to hear us respond over here. And I say, let's not give it to them. Fuck it. Leave them alone. Just end it right now. If we never talk about it again, that would be the best thing. And let them just keep freaking screaming from the rooftops how they didn't steal it, and it's the opposite way. And that's it. I made my decision last night. I said that I was telling my wife, because somebody sent me something, and I was like, all right. Then you sent me that message. I said, all right, let me listen a little bit what they're saying. So I put it on. I couldn't last more than 2 minutes. I said, you know what? I can't listen to this shit. It's just getting me pissed off. I'm just going to shut it off. And my wife, too, was getting, and she knows some of the stuff, the main stuff, and she's furious about it. So I'm like, it's not even worth it. Like, this is what they're going to do forever. He's going to have to do this. So leave him wallow in his shit. Don't even give a response, and let's not give any of these people that, because if you read the chat, you see somebody in chat say, oh, that's it, Neil has his eye on you. So what do you got to say about that, Neil?
Co-authors, I tell you, co-authors.
Yes, so now I'm not going to give him anything. That's it.
But I thought the song was quite funny, but I mean, I just would have.
No, it was great.
Yeah,
I thought the song was great, but I'm saying, what do you think? As of this moment on, from every show that comes forth, let's just leave it. Let them do what they're going to do over there. That's what they have to do. And it's all going to close in on them. But we'll just talk about, what we talk about in the show, then promoting Nathan's
no reaction.
next book. Right, no reaction.
There's that part. Yeah. Now let the dead bury the dead.
Yeah.
There comes a point where we're just done with them. We don't care. You're not going to affect us. Your petty grasping the straws, while you're drowning isn't going to affect us ever.
But I mean, that's why. I mean, I know I mentioned it today. That's why, because at the time that I wasn't there for the show, and I'm not even listening. I know I've not even listened to it. I don't even know if what they've said about the song, if they listened to it. I don't know. I'm not asked. But what I'm saying is, while I was there, that's why I brought it up today. you got Q Evil going on about going over a treatment or something, and he's just going on about atmosphere, and it's an oxymoron. You know the story. Sphere-shaped tear and star movement. He was getting into the debunking the globe, the heliocentric nonsense.
Yeah, he's the Globe Terminator. So you got that
That's
title.
all he was doing. Yeah. So that was his main, one of his topics last night. And he was going on, getting his fucking scripts up, his citations about, Atmo and whoever from what university.
No, well, that's the thing. It's like, you're not Christy Bodak from Southwestern University. No, Christy's Christy. That's not your intellectual property, you delusional muppet. You just go on and on with your anti-glob rhetoric and your pretend to clown fraud nonsense as though you're some, non-empathetic robot from the future, and you're going to crush a non-existent glob, and you're going to show us pretend to clown frauds. No, you're delusional. And there's a projection mirror right at you. You're the pretend to clown fraud.
Yeah, but he's doing. Listen, he can't advertise anywhere but on freaking Jenna's server that nobody goes to. He'll post his new thing coming out on Jenna's server. That's it.
Yeah, you know it, bro. Yeah, I get the notification as well. But yeah, when you threw everybody else down under the bus and you burned all the bridges, then you wonder why there's nothing to connect. But you think you're delusional, superior, guru that, I'm the bad guy and I'm telling the truth and it's me against the world. No, you're delusional.
He burnt the bridge on the main guy. He burnt the main bridge, Nathan. That was the main freaking bridge, and he's freaking got a bomb off to it. All right. That's how you want it.
Oh, yeah.
Have a nice life. I'm not going to respond to anything anymore. I know I said some things on the show, but no more. That's it. Let's make an agreement now that no longer. Nathan's different. If Nathan brings it up, that's on him. But as far as us, we got to come to an agreement that that's it. No more.
Neil.
Well, it will be what we're doing going forward.
What's that?
Go ahead, Lynn.
I just said Neil.
I still am hurting you.
Must be faintly close to his mic.
I don't know. It's just a thought.
Oh, it is what it will be.
I agree.
Let the dead bury the dead.
All right, I hear you now, Len. What'd you say?
I agree, but it's you that keeps bringing it up all the time. That's what I meant by Neil.
Yeah. I know I brought it up today. I said that. That's the first thing I said. I know I brought it up today. But this is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at these people in there. And this is what the people in the chat, they listen to that. Then they want to see we respond. So now let's just cut them off. That's it.
Yeah, there's certain individuals, they just feed off the life you have. They're just parasites. And you just cut them off. And they're no more.
Energy vampires.
Exactly. So, but here's the thing, Len. He needs us. That's why he's doing this. But we don't need him. So what are we doing? And I'm preaching to myself. He needs to do all this. We don't. We could just go on the show and talk about what we were talking about, never bring it up again. Just talk about the book that's coming out. Now, if Nathan brings up thieves, that's on him, and we don't even have to respond to that.
About them that shall not be named, Neil.
What's that?
Are you talking about them that shall not be named?
Yeah.
Sorry, I just had to nip out. I just had to nip into somewhere to get some. I'm just back in now.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna do my
105%
darndest to
votes.
not bring it up. I'm gonna really make a conscious effort and to not bring it up, and that's it. Because I know that's what I've noticed. I'm like, this is what they're doing here, playing a little game. LVA Paul sending me a message. The book is excellent twice because I took a little snapshot of his saying that in QE's chat and sent it back to him and said, "Hey, do you realize that?" They were the ones that freaking had you labeled as the bad guy that deliberately got Nathan a computer that would cause him stress. Just so you know that, who you hanging out with. And he texts back, the book's excellent. Yeah, screw yourself.
Wasn't there something with, I know we're not talking about him, but wasn't there something with QE in that Paul, I remember, but he used to fucking say he didn't trust him or something like that.
Yeah, Adam, Meekin, Brian couldn't stand LVA Paul. Brian used to tell me, that freaking guy is an agent. I don't trust him. He wants me to get Element. One time he asked me for my PayPal. He was going to send me money. I told him, no, that's okay. I'm good. So just to let you know who you with. Because, you did help me when I had the accident. You were very generous and sent me money a few times. So I feel obligated to tell you who you're around. So I've done my duty. I warned him. Now that's all I could do. But I see what's going on. They're using us, like Nathan calls the triangulation. They're trying to triangulate. Well, let's cut that triangle in half. So if it's only one side saying it and we're not responding, then they'll flounder. It's going to have to come up with something else, And then when Nathan's book comes out, forget it. They're gonna be freaking like The Exorcist when they're throwing the holy water at her. They're gonna be getting sliced left and right because that's gonna really devastate them.
But it's like it's on screen now. He was in my song last night, Black Swan Outdated. It is, but what's the distance to them oil rigs, Neil?
Distance, you say?
Yeah, and what's the height of them above
Height, you say?
sea level?
Y'all are on it.
But I'll tell you what, let's argue about that geometric horizon, where that should be.
Should be, as in like a distance to?
Yeah,
Oh,
like it's never been defined as ever. And even if you did get a distance to the geometric horizon, what would you be using?
Oh,
Miles,
dear.
surface level, parallel with line of sight. Oh my God, you know what I mean?
We're so far ahead.
Yeah, calling it what it is with the Earth measurements.
It was funny though. Sorry, Chet. It was funny, and I'm only saying it because it was a bit ago when QE was doing the treatment on you Neil, you sewer rat. He was playing a clip.
Hold on, get it correct. Midget sewer rat. Midget sewer rat.
Midget sewer rat. He was playing a clip of you over somewhere, and you came out with, yeah, the Black Swan's a great argument. But that was in, and he did say what month it was. Might have been August. I don't. Might have been last year. It was before. Obviously, it was before our progression. But it was just now we're doing this. It was funny to listen to you say that because you wouldn't say that now. I just chuckled to myself.
Were you sure I wasn't saying it sarcastically?
No. I think you would have been in that whenever it was. We probably would have said that then. I can't remember the time. We wasn't at, pardon the pun, this level now.
Well, this happened. Then you're talking about the tape he was playing and me going to 24/7 and spilling the beans?
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that was sarcastically. It's a great argument.
Ah, right. Sorry, mate. I've misheard it then. Sorry.
Because
Apologies.
they have the arguments, and that's all he wants is the argument.
Yeah. It's a good argument, but there is no argument.
Yeah, because we were already saying by that time that the argument's over. Because we were having friction, if you remember. The whole, it's measured flat, and that's it. There was resistance from Brian, Adam, and even QE. There was resistance to it. And even at one time, there was a whole big thing where Adam was trying to freaking mock Nathan because he couldn't quote his own book. It was right there in the book where he was playing that. You got to explain more. You can't just say it's measured flat. What does that mean to me? Because Nathan did the Black Swan the way he does it, the way we do it now. And then Adam was like, that doesn't mean anything to me. I don't understand. I'm just a newbie. What does that mean? There was a whole show on it. Yeah.
He's trying to make out with his citations and all like that. He was the first person to bring all this to the table. Like, that's what he was saying when he was, because when I was listening to him for a slight moment last night, I was like, even when listening to QE going on about atmosphere and star rotation, trying to explain to a glober that, the gas doesn't take the shape of a container. The story. I'm thinking to myself, what the you're talking about? Get to the measurements.
Yep.
That's what I was thinking to myself. This is QE. I'm just thinking, shut up. And I wasn't saying, why isn't he just fucking telling him it's measured flat? And that's got nothing to do with a measurement, this gas behaviour.
By the way, how does he measure that gas pressure anyway?
I think the pressure starts from sea level.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, and the altitude is from that as well.
Yeah, 14.7 psi. Yeah, starts at the 0 degree baseline, mate.
I listened to a bit of the show last night, and the amount of times QA was just going off it and telling Brian to shut up. I don't know how Brian sticks about. He's like a lost puppy that has to stay with the abuser. It's fucking sad.
Listen, Len, I told him that. I freaking warned Brian, because when this first happened, there was 2 weeks. It might have been a little more that I would talk with Brian on the phone all the time, and it would always end in an argument, and we decided that that's it, because he was bringing up the same shit, and I would bring up the same thing. That wasn't agreed upon. They never started a new book. Yes, they did. It's right there. No, the book was always Nathan's book. They were editors. That's how it would end, right? And I told him, I said, Brian, I'm telling you right now what's going to happen. You're going to keep talking this shit. You're going to get pissed off on one of the shows because Nathan's going to fire back at you. You're going to leave. You're going to line up with them, and you're going to be fucking miserable. Excuse my language, but this pissed me off because I did like Brian,
Yeah, you're right, and Len's right. And I think I put some lyric down on the song about Brian getting bullied because he does. I listen to it. It's like QE's just like, he's trying not to. He's trying to keep it a little bit okay because he's only got Adam, Flatsy, and Brian. But I know Brian goes on a bit. You could never get a bloody word in sometimes on the show with him. But he says, "Get on!" He just like, "Get on with it, Brian. Shut up and get on with it. We don't need to hear you yet." And Brian has this little laugh like, "Okay then, I'll do as I'm told."
Yeah, Nathan's right. They were love bombed. Chocolate, Flatsy, Adam, freaking the other guy. Guess who?
Lite.
Sasha.
Brian started doing it with me, didn't he? And I wasn't doing it. I wasn't doing it in a horrible way. I was just doing it like we're doing now. Like someone will jump in and say, "Oh, yeah, you're going to need a horizontal baseline for that one deck." Or Neil, I was there. What's the distance to them oil rigs? Like I've just done there, just haphazardly, just talking. That's all I was doing with Brian, but it was starting to get a little bit. I know one deck. I know you don't have to keep saying this. How it's measured flat. Sometimes we've got to talk about how it's not a globe.
Yeah, and then he said to me one time when I was trying to bring up that how globers say, in Australia it's relative to where you are, so you're upright. Forgot what he said, but he got really annoyed, and I was like, "What the fuck is wrong with this guy?" He's like, "Neil, I know that's old." Yeah, I know. We all know that, Brian. Don't you think I know globers would say that? God's
Yeah,
sake.
but we can't be. it can't be a globe, Neil, because if you've got a spherical triangle on a globe, right? if you're using spherical geometry on the globe, right, and then you get the spherical triangle and you flatten it out on a flat Earth map, you're going to have areas missing.
Yep.
So it can't be a globe.
Forget about the flat you just passed up, right?
Yeah, like the 9.41 miles to platform habitat and the 6.21 linear miles to platform hill house in the height above mean sea level of our flat Earth, of the observer height. Yeah.
We missed it too, though. We missed it. The Isle of Man days, we missed it. And I'm saying because we were all looking for curvature, so of course we missed it. But we don't miss it anymore.
The 30 miles.
They don't bring it up at all. So that's what makes us, we're in a unique place here. And like I said, those Robotham books and Eric Dubay or whoever, they may imply it, right? And they don't even realize it. Nathan's the only one saying it. So that's why this is going to be unique. And for a lot, it's going to be new information.
Yep, definitely. Like you say, Adam Meakin has already said it. I've heard him say it. This book will arm you. You'll be able to, get into an argument with a glober or an anti-flat earther, and you'll be able to argue these heliocentric
Pull that
points.
book right out, chapter 4. Boom, gravity. Pull out that book, chapter 5, relative density. You got everything you need here to destroy the globe. Oh, really?
Yeah.
You have all the weapons you need to destroy something that's non-existent. Beautiful.
You've got all the weapons you need to destroy a globe which was measured with fucking flat Earth elevation angle measurements taken from
Oh, yeah, that
level.
too, mate. Yeah, that part too, yeah.
You got everything you need to destroy a globe that doesn't exist unless you measure it flat first. Well done, guys.
Bravo, standing ovation.
Yeah, that just measured flat using surface level parallel to fucking surface level, right? You can do that with this book, but you tell them how how star rotation and the gas pressure, atmosphere, oxymoronic atmosphere, gas behavior. Yeah, that'll debunk everything.
Yeah, it's all it is pride. And you can see it in the way they talk. Now, this is not on the show, guys. So I don't think Nathan's recording. He ended the after show. So what we talk about here is different. I'm saying strictly for the show. Maybe it'd be best not to bring it up and just cause them to freaking starve for attention. But anyway,
they're trolls.
You could hear the difference in how Nathan is just totally like, this is freaking nonsense because none of us mean anything to it anymore. What does it make you if you can lay all these arguments down and there's no argument at all? It's pointless. And how on the other side, they're holding to this, they're the man and they got the power and they created all these arguments and it's all right in his book here and you could dethrone or debunk or destroy or terminate the globe. So it's the way it is right now, and see the difference in who people are. And it's freaking shocking, man, because he's a dweeb and that's the bottom line. That's why he's the Terminator. It's got to be a Terminator. When you're a dweeb, you got to be a superhero, right? The Batman shirt. He became the Terminator.
Yeah, you have to become this cool fictional character in order to make up for all your insecurities. Therefore, you're going to save the world. You're going to be the secret king or the new big girl or some other fictitious nonsense. No, when it's just simple, chill, That's the way it is. The Earth measured flat. The Earth's flat.
Then at the end, he says this stupid thing like he's appealing to the audience. When people make a claim, make them support it. But he's referring to Nathan making a claim that they robbed him, that he should support that claim, you know? And it freaking makes you sick, you're like going to vomit.
There was a point where they were going on about the and thing where they pretty much admitted it.
Yeah.
That they did take it and didn't give it back. I meant to take a screenshot of the timestamp for that.
I got it. What he was saying was that he read a letter that Nathan freaking wrote, or a little message he sent out, how the book will not be surpassed thanks to the editing process. And that the end is important, Quantum Eraser and the Adamican. So it takes them away from being editors now, that and puts them in another category. I read it differently. I read it as thanks to, because everybody was there, right? There was me, there was refracted curvature, but the bulk of the stuff being done, because they bullied their way in, was Adam and QE. So that's why, and they were asking for it. That's why Nathan highlighted them. The editing process and Adam Meakin and Quantum Eraser, they take it as the end, as if that's a confession that they were doing more than editing. Holy shit. Really?
Yeah, that's what I was getting. Yeah, as though that ipso facto made you authors. When no, he's just at that point thanking you at the time for supposed friends actually helping you with the editing process. But you want to misconstrue that as though, wow, now you're automatically ipso facto the authors. No, you're delusional. You're a delusional Muppet. No, it's Nathan's bud.
And I'm thinking when he's reading that out, I'm thinking, if I know any better, Nathan's writing this. Yeah, he means it, but sort of like to freaking egg them on so they could continue, because it's already been a long time, and this was in June. So it's like, let me feed them a little. These guys are great, but can we get back to freaking work now? I don't know. Yeah, he made that seem like it's some sort of confession on Nathan's part.
Yeah,
wow.
Wow, look at this gotcha. And that, this quote I have, is going to somehow make it to the point as though Nathan's applauding them for all their intellectual property, and he's there to support them with their book. Oh, you're delusional. It's Nathan's book. You were just there to help him edit it and supposedly to make it better, to help out Nathan. But no, you stabbed him in the back, and you are now being removed.
Yeah, there was no, listen, I'm bringing all this stuff over from my website, Nathan. And if we're going to do this, can you put us down as co-authors? And Nathan would have said, no, thank you very much. And they know that. They all knew that. They could play stupid all they want. That they do, whoa, no, duh. Well, we have to spell it out? Yeah. When you're expecting something, there's a reason why you're not verbalizing it, because deep down inside, Nathan's going to say no. So that's why you never even mentioned it till it was freaking almost finished, and he was totally freaking impoverished. Yeah, it was a very, very deceitful move he tried, but Nathan said, go F yourself, and left you with it. Now you rush to release it. It's getting horrible freaking ratings. Now it's probably not even selling anymore, because now you're saying it's not about the money. It's about equipping you guys with all the information that I've had stored, when you were clearly talking about money, how you were going to get 30% if it made over 250,000. And then when you asked your wife, how much should I get? You were thinking about the money then. But now that it's not doing good, it's just about getting you guys the information. Oh, really? And like Nathan said today, With him, it was always about the money. That's why the book was being written, so he can make some more money other than YouTube.
Sorry, I lost connection there, so I didn't hear anything for a while. But just going back to what we're saying and what Nathan's talking about, and sort of pennies dropping. I've been using me and you as an example, Neil, but like you say, I think the pennies dropping, and we have got to stop that because, and I'm just going to, QE, right? That's all he does. Yeah, he'll go onto a show of, politics, pick somebody out, and overlord over them on the pronunciation of words, what they're saying. He's got the information for this to debunk the globe or Coriolis. Well, we don't need to do any of that. He's doing it. You just measured flat, mate. What are you behaving like a fucking idiot for? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
if
like
they would catch on at 24/7, then maybe they could fire back. But they're not catching on either. They want to continue, so they can strike right back and say, "You dumbass! All your information you think you got, it's just measured flat. You idiot!"
Yeah, but somebody like a flat earther, with a YouTube channel going in there and going over the recordings and just criticizing their language and anything you can fucking pick on to overlord over them. Yeah, that's why do that when it's just measured flat anyway.
So he could be their guru. He always wanted to be the guy in charge. Don't you remember that time when he said, "I wonder where Flat Earth would be if I didn't show up on scene"?
I've never liked the guy, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, you consistently hear that as though you're the authoritarian over how the Earth's being measured. No, that's the way it is with or without you. It's delusional. Earth's measured flat, with or without any of us. The antecedent
So you don't have to
Earth being the horizontal plane.
Yeah, but I mean, Nathan stopped doing this in last year. You don't have, with the Dave Triangle McKeegans and not so flat Earth fucking Dave and Simon Dan with his reference frames, and then videos. Anyone can do that.
Yeah, we stop.
We'll stop that. But that's still being done by, apparently, high level flat earthers. Let's just dig in. Yeah.
FED's always led the way, and it's still the same. Nothing's changed, right? Nothing has changed. As FED goes, that's how the advancement of the argument that's not an argument goes anymore. This whole thing with flat, globe, it's always been a tip of the spear on flat earth debate. You know it. When you found the show, when I found the show, we knew it, right? They separated, right? They didn't like the way it was going because the way Nathan was taking it was making everybody irrelevant, right? So now they didn't like that. Brian didn't like that. Brian even said it in one show. Nathan's trying to make us redundant. Yeah, not just you, all of us, right? And he didn't like that. So that's what you get in. I had Brian telling me, "Oh, Neil, so before this happened, you had great respect for QE. Now he's nothing. He's dumb." I said, "No, Brian. When somebody shows their true colors, I gotta call it the way I see it. He's a scumbag now. A guy that I had a lot of respect for as far as his intellectual prowess. Now I think is a piece of shit." Yeah.
So, but there's two things here. So, the QE, so his problem is he's still going in, slagging people off, and why are they not using his arguments how to debunk the heliocentric nonsense or globe? Yeah, that's his problem. I've told them this 6 years ago to talk about the oxymoronic atmosphere. Yeah. Which some of them apparently are not going straight into that when they're discussing Earth spin, yeah. And when somebody's discussing the atmosphere moving with the globe, what you should do, according to QE, is tell them that atmosphere is oxymoronic because, gas doesn't take a shape unless it's in a sphere-shaped container. So argue that point I've been telling you for 10 years about. Argue that point, not that, the sphere that's spinning should have a measurement, and the measurement does come from sea level. We don't need to talk about the gas behavior.
Yeah, and
or
if
you
you
bring
do,
up the
we'll
gas
talk about
behavior,
how it's measured.
you're gonna get to, where's it measured from? Oh yeah, from our flat Earth, mean sea level. Ding ding ding, we're done.
The master.
29,028 feet height of Mount Everest for that gas pressure gradient. Yeah, that'll be from mean sea level of our flat Earth.
No, but no. I want to hear you use what I told you 8 years ago about how gas is unbonding and it doesn't take a shape. Talk about that, will you, please?
And keep going on about the second law of thermodynamics and gas laws and gas behavior and stuff. And well, it could be on a globe, but it's not. But it's really out of this trichotomy. Well, no, it's a dichotomy over here. And it's just going to keep on with the wrangle dangle, and then it's like, whoa, get this crap off of me. No, it's just measured from flat Earth where the gas pressure and the gas pressure gradient is. And then you're going to require the containment in the first place from it, and that'll be measured, from our flat Earth and the horizontal plane of reference.
I do understand.
You're welcome.
I do understand some things, like because they argue refraction, and that's his main point, But in doing so, he can address both things, and he never goes to the measurement, like one that, and you just said, you have to tell him how, you got to argue that it's oxymoronic and, can't have gas pressure out of container and gas pressure gradient, all the nonsense, never once going to the measurements at all.
Yeah, that's
So
fine.
that's
If
his
you
folly.
quickly bring up that, it's laughable with your oxymoronic, sphere-shaped air, but you get right to the measurement of our Earth, the
Well,
geometry.
that should follow. That should be the immediate. To me, that's what you should lead with. If you lead with that,
I'm just saying,
and plant your
it
flag,
first was brought up, but then you immediately go to the measurement.
Right.
But
if you
the first
lead
thing
with
to do
that,
is to bring up the measurements.
if you lead with that measurement, now, you can't have gas pressure and we measure it from sea level. Lead with that, plant the flag at sea level, measured flat. And then if you want to go into, and by the way, it's oxymoronic, fine. But to just totally ignore, I'm kind of glad. Let them keep ignoring it.
I mean, I'm looking at them now, like QE, Brian, and Adam, and thinking, you're as bad as fucking. They should be 2.2.
Yeah, exactly.
The land of Misfit Toys 2.3.
Yo, you're onto something one day. Oh my goodness, we got to do that. It's not, I can't. This will give them attention, but that would be a show. Nathan
But that's
should
the whole
just
point.
Nathan should just do one last hurrah show, and do a treatment on these dumbasses.
Yeah, because that's
call ball busters, freaking
The land of Misfit Toys 2.3.
yes.
Call QE Live the land of Misfit Toys 2.1 or 2 or 3. Yeah. Or if you want to just keep it numerically 3.0.
We should do a treatment on his dumbass.
Yeah, because
that would be sick.
of
People
reality.
love that.
When you want to make believe you have something to insult us and pretend to clown frauds as though you have a treatment on us. Yeah, we got you by the balls, Jesus homie.
Yeah, so he's doing exactly the same thing. This is what I was saying I was listening to him for 5 minutes last night on the atmosphere oxymoronic fucking statement about we've just been through it. I'm thinking, why are you fucking spending energy on this, QE? So I could say you are in the land of misfit toys at the moment, mate.
Yep.
You are one of them.
Okay,
I
so
could go on being
let's
Christy
do
Bodak
this.
from Southwest
Let's do this.
University.
Let's do this logically, and let's do this with the proper game plan. If somebody can get something together of the things they say, maybe we could talk Nathan into, hey, we got to do a treatment on this. You know what I mean? Anything. Just get a few things that they're saying, and let's fire back.
Len's the man for that, I reckon.
Yes, he is. Len is the man that can compile a bunch of stuff that they're talking about, and we could freaking come in and say, oh, really? Oxymoronic air? Really? How's that measured? And freaking go right into the measurements and everything and call them freaking Earth Awakenings 2.3 or whatever you say.
Yeah, there you go. Fucking turn the clock back on them. Yeah, reverse the fucking tables.
Yeah, all you have to do is bring up anti-glom rhetoric.
Christian, I'm not doing that in a. I want to fucking. I'm being truthful when I say that, because I did mention this half an hour ago. I did. You can listen to it back if it's been recorded. I did say when I was listening to it last night, I thought, what, QE, why are you talking about this?
Yeah.
Why don't you just get straight? I said it. Now I've come to the conclusion half an hour later, and I've realised that what he's critiquing people about talking about fucking nonsense.
Yep.
Yeah. About why aren't they doing this? But you're doing exactly the same fucking thing.
He's talking nonsense. So we need to do a treatment on his dumb ass.
God, I love it when I fucking get to a point and I fucking feel great.
Yeah, that's one that you've been freaking really. You brought. Let's do freaking treatments on freaking normal people. Brilliant. That's what we were doing. Now you're coming up with this. You're onto something here, man. Let's do a treatment on the freaking guy that's doing treatments on these freaking people, and he's doing the same thing.
Yeah, the real treatment of the fucking Land of Misfit Toys 2.3.
You're condemning them over there. Really, QE, you dumb bastard? And you're talking about this when you're skipping past all the flat earth prerequisites.
Yeah, let's talk about
what are you doing?
fucking...
Yeah, you want to talk about others waffling on when you're waffling on.
Yeah, keep this now. Keep this in mind. What you've just said, Neil, in this conversation. And Len, if you're listening, you need to maybe, if you can, pal, get some. But man, Nathan might not want to go down that road.
We'll see.
Just at a point, let it die. But yeah,
at least we'll have it together. So if he does say, yeah, why not? At least Len could just pull it up. All right, here it is. Boom. QE freaking reprimanding them over there. And well, he's the one that should be reprimanded.
Yeah.
So what's that you need pulling up?
If you could put together.
Well, hang on, Neil. You can say, Neil, but I don't know if Len heard the conversation of the conclusion we're coming to. So maybe explain that with the.
No, you explain it.
I'll say that, and then you carry on. What we're saying, we're talking about QE, and I listened to him last night. When I was listening, talking about pulling someone apart on the Land of Misfit Toys 2.1 or 2.2, he was talking about the atmosphere moves with the Earth. QE brought all these citations up and said, this is what you should be saying when that gets brought up. Has nobody learned anything from what I've said? And he goes on about gas pressure, gas particles, oxymoronic, and gas doesn't take the shape of fucking anything unless it's in the container, blah, 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 blah. But that's not getting to the point of measurement. So he's ripping someone apart for using atmosphere moving with the Earth. But instead of him going straight to the measurements, So what I'm saying is he is like in the Land of Misfit Toys 2.3, and we need to do a treatment on him. So we need to pull out some sentences or examples of him and Brian and Adam or Flatsy doing that and saying, these are the fucking Misfit Toys of 2.3. So Neil, you go there.
You threw in there one deck. You cracked me up, man.
Yeah, I was just when I missed you the first time, I was just pulling out the clip of Brian saying when it was supposed to be handed to Nathan, which in itself, him saying that is the admission that it was supposed to be handed to Nathan.
Yeah,
It's ridiculous.
it was supposed to be handed to Nathan for the final edit. And Nathan was going to hack out all the bullshit about Mae West would be blushing and all the other bullshit he deemed unnecessary. Yeah. That's what editors do. They hand over. If somebody writes a book and they say, "Can you edit this?" Right. It goes to the editors. Then the editors, when they're finished, they hand it back to the author. So, yes.
Yeah, but that's great, and I love all that, Len. But just keep in mind what we've just said there for another. That's on a different sort of topic area with that. But what we need is so-called high sophisticated, top of the fucking range flat earthers talking about non-measurement things and arguing the point of heliocentric nonsense. And then we're going to point out that you're also in a land of misfit toys 2.3. Basically, is what we're saying.
Yeah, I could potentially put together a treatment on him from the persona of the anti-flurf troll.
No,
Yeah,
what
but I
we
mean, like,
want is, what we don't want you to do the treatment. We want you to get the video together and see if Nathan will do a treatment on it. Just him doing these things and reprimanding people so we could do a treatment on him.
What we need
I don't
is
think
like
Nathan would do that, to be honest.
We'll give it a shot. You never know. You never know what mood he'll be in.
It's just, it's asking for more tit and tat. It's just going to drive it back and forward. And from what I glean from what he's saying, he just wants to move forward from even responding to his bullshit.
I think what Neil was.
Yeah, but we're not. Hold on. I agree. 1 second. I agree. We're not talking about the book at all. We're talking about how this asshole is reprimanding people, and he's not even correct in how he's doing it.
Yes, correct. That was well said.
Yeah, I get what you said.
But Neil did say it would be the final cut, and then we all have a handshake, and then it's over.
Yeah, we'll see. Listen, this don't have to be done now. This could be done 2-3 months after Nathan releases his book, and it's doing
Even if
well.
you get even if you get the clips together, we can always we can always write the words down and put it into a song of who said the words, and we can mention the fucking. But we've just said we don't want to do all this. I know all that, but I'm not. We're not doing it spitefully. It's just we're saying, listen. Mind you, I mean, you can look at this in so many fucking ways because Nathan's telling me and you, Neil, not to fucking go in and do this. And then, but everybody's saying, well, let's do this now about that. But we have got a major point because the person who's doing it is, convincing himself he's the master reference of fucking flat Earth.
Delusional muppet.
Flatsy. Flatsy.
You're so correct.
She is such a dumb bitch. You know what?
Brian,
when she comes in with her shit, I just laugh.
She went last night. Oh, Brian, if you knew QE, you'd know he wouldn't mean that. You don't know QE like I do.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. We all know him now. We've seen the photos, and we put 2 and 2 together. He's a frickin' dweeb.
Oh, that is a dweeb, mate. I mean, I'm not just saying it, but it was a. If you get a picture of someone in your head, don't you? So, and I pictured QE as like, not as a dweeb.
Yeah, I pictured him as this burly dude, like arrow shooting guy, like, you know what I'm saying? Handsome, freaking broke, and he's a freaking 5'7", maybe 5'8", and he's laughing at me at 5'6". Are you joking me? Hey, come on, buddy. I've seen pictures of Len. Len's cool. I put my pictures up now, and I'm cool. And I'm 60 freaking 1 in a couple of weeks. This dude, man, that's why he never shows himself, because he's a freaking dweeb.
Yeah, it's that fucking. He's got about him little mouse, hasn't he? That screws up with his glasses and his nose. But he just puts a fucking different. Anyway, but yeah. Anyway, even if we don't do what we're doing, I think we've come to a really good conclusion that the Land of Misfit Toys 2.3 is QE.
Yeah, QE Live. You want to do a treatment? Go to QE Live. Listen to what this dipshit's saying. Don't argue it this way. Argue it this way.
Yeah.
No measurements
That means
mentioned.
Yeah, and keep making believe that it is an argument when it's just measured Earth flat in reality. But we can keep pretending that we're a guru and some secret king to lord over somebody. Oh, wait, that's the other camp.
Yeah. If somebody mentions to you, Christian, that the atmosphere is moving with the globe, don't point out that the globe is measured flat. Start talking about how gas behaves.
Oh,
forget how the globe is measured.
Yeah, let's go into the fairy tale paradigm of non-existence of understanding the globe better for everyone when it's just measured flat. I gotcha.
Yeah, forget the globe. Just talk about how the atmosphere. It can't be sphere shaped because that's how gas doesn't behave. Forget what it's sort of moving round and the shape of the Earth. What it's moving round is measured flat. Talk about the gas particles.
Well, yeah, and then I can lord over it with everyone that Christy Bodak is me and Southwest University, and I can just lord it over everybody, and it's my intellectual property. See, you understand?
Yeah, but in doing so, I just realized when he does that, he's taking citations, right, of people that still think they're on a globe too. They still think they're on a globe.
Yeah.
Every citation he's got, you ask those people, they'll tell you live on a globe. So technically,
citation doesn't mean it's fucking true anyway.
I know. So you could cite gas law all you want, and yeah, that's probably, how gas behave. But do you realize they start at sea level?
A master reference level.
And work their way north.
Yeah.
Yeah, that gas pressure gradient again that you want to argue over the delta X from the delta and 29,028 feet from mean sea level of the peak of Mount Everest. Oh yeah. It's the flat Earth measurement that you have for it.
See, like you say, we moved out of that. QE's prepared now because he knows the globe responses and heliocentric neutral responses. Well, the atmosphere moves with the globe. So instead of addressing that we don't live on a globe and the globe has never been measured, and even if you did put a fucking distance to the fucking non-geometric ever-defined horizon, it would be a flat Earth measurement anyway. You're going to talk about gas particles. So, I mean, we could fucking give this to fucking treatment, mate.
Refractive curvature is right because he never, ever gives a globe proof at all. Everything QE comes out with is a globe debunk. Look at the other thing. How do you get an elevation angle from a curved baseline? What curved baseline?
Well, I've been saying that for fucking years since it came out. It's a fucking stupid fucking question. Shouldn't even be a question that's asked. It's fucking moronic.
It should be a statement of fact. You get an elevation angle from a horizontal baseline. End of story.
Yeah, it's not. There should be no questions asked.
Exactly. We make statements of fact here.
Yes, Neil. Statements of fact, not questions, because we know the answers now. There's no questions. You can ask us a question about the sea level and elevation angle measurements and celestial navigation and mapping and scales and linear distances and fucking compasses. You can ask us as many questions as you want. We'll tell you the truth about that.
If you think about what you just said, it all makes sense now. Why he told 10th Man hold off on that. Because it would have shot that shit right. There would have never been no Black Swan. If 10th Man would have came right out with celestial navigation What freaking black swan are we talking about here? And he knew that. He freaking knew that.
Oh, QE, the Black Swan is arguing, right, about where the fucking horizon should be.
Right.
What fucking horizon?
And
What-
10th
what's-
Man was coming out with direct measurements of Earth.
Yeah, but we
Yeah,
never
that's
said it at the beginning.
The one I found
What we should have,
laughable.
yeah, but hang on, Christian. What we should have said is, why are we fucking putting a point together that tells us we're telling a glober that the distance to your horizon, we can prove the distance to the horizon isn't it in that position.
Because we weren't
Fucking
there
stupid.
yet. We weren't there yet. One
Stupid.
deck. But if 10th Man, because he went to QE with it, and QE said, yeah, hold off, let the Black Swan take its course. Yeah, because you wanted to be the guru, and you know damn well that celestial navigation would annihilate that. Because now you're not debunking a globe. Now you're demonstrating how Earth is measured flat with celestial navigation.
So
Ah.
why as a flat Earth fucking guru would you not go straight to the fucking measurement and argue about a geometric fucking location which isn't even geometric?
Because he's not a flat out guru. He's a globe Earth Terminator. That's his name.
Yeah, he's in the land of misfit toys 2.3, pal.
So he named himself a Terminator of something that's not existent.
Yep, that's my point, Neil.
Well
Yeah,
done,
like, very
Kiwi.
good. Very good. How can you terminate something that doesn't exist?
Exactly. He wants to scream all day long, what model? There's no model. Well, what the freak were you doing with the Black Swan? You were giving him a freaking globe and showing him how it can be.
I want to argue all day of how this is not working on a globe or not when it's just measured flat. Yeah. Meanwhile, the logical consistency and if and then statement, and you want to join with the celestial navigation as though making you out to some puffed up importance when
Hey,
they're
General
contradictory
Jerkoff.
statements. Yeah, and he said that. You're
General
delusional.
Jerkoff. What was the point, General
That's my point.
Jerkoff? What were you trying to do, General Jerkoff? Really? The distance to the horizon. Do you not know what distance is? Do we have to explain it to you?
He's assisting the
General
bowlers.
Jerkoff?
He's assisting bowlers. He's a ball fucking helper.
The question to him is, do you know for sure
One day.
and without a doubt that Earth is flat? I don't think he does.
Yeah, get him on the Jamie Lee Peterson show. Have him be in the same seat, and it'll be the same crap that Dave Weiss at that point gave.
Right.
Listen,
I mean, it could be a million times bigger.
Yeah, but-
Bob, I mean,
going back to the, if we don't want to go down the, like this is like doing QEs or Brian's or Adams or Flats's voice, right? We can write the words down that they've said and give them the juxtaposed name that we've provided them with, or if they have been all provided a name in a book, I don't know, and say this person on this date on this fucking server said this, and we can read it out and say, so we're not playing there. If you want to, we're just giving examples of what so-called high position flat earthers are saying.
Right.
In the land of 2.3 Misfit Toyland.
Yeah, we could say this. We could say, okay, General Jerkoff, you once had this great idea of that. How do you get an elevation angle from a curved baseline? First of all, you dumb bastard, what curved baseline? And how about the way we take an elevation angle must be from a horizontal baseline? That's a statement of fact. That's not a question. Why are you asking questions anyway, General Jerkoff?
Why would you ask a question that you know that is incorrect?
Anti-flat states that, that it's just measured from surface level and sea level. And you're done.
You mean sea level?
Yeah, I mean sea level, brain.
General Jerkoff, let's talk about how maps were made and created. Right?
No. Let's talk about Let's talk about, what else could we talk about? What else does he talk about? Well, I've got the example of the atmosphere moving with the Earth. He's pulled someone up on that. But how you should deal with that, right? So if a globe is talking about the atmosphere moving with the Earth, what you should deal with, Neil, is that gas particles don't work like that. Yeah?
Oh,
Not
great.
that. There's no fucking globe for them to move round. Here's the measurements to prove it.
Here's one. Gravity. Which one? Einsteinian or freaking Newtonian? Huh? What is gravity anyway? And if you're going to be referring to Newtonian gravity and a force, right, pulling things to it, a downward vector, you're going to need a horizontal baseline for that too. That's a flat Earth proof.
Yeah, I know we do say that now, and yeah, you get it. But we're talking about things falling.
Yeah,
In a vertical
falling.
fucking direct, falling in a vertical direction. That's got nothing to do with a measurement.
Well, actually, in this case, it does, because if you're going to measure it, you're going to be measuring it from a horizontal baseline. And that's the flat Earth. Because you're talking about directionality.
That's correct. So what is, but what I'm saying is, when someone brings that up, saying, "Oh, gravity's not is gravity a measurement?"
No. I don't know what gravity is. It's a force. You can think of it as a force, but it's not a force.
Right.
It's a bending of pseudo. It's a bending of space-time.
Okay, so Neil, me and you have a conversation. Are we talking about the shape of Earth?
No, but we can turn it into one.
Yeah, but that's what me and you were talking about, the shape of Earth. So, has somebody determined the shape of Earth at any point in history?
No.
Well, what about Eratosthenes?
Oh, that's right. I totally forgot about him one deck. He's the guy that measured Earth flat.
Yeah, and you got Alberuni. There's the two proofs. That's all it is. There's only two. Nothing else. Nothing's documented. It's not measured anymore. Well, it is actually. It is actually measured all the time, because you get different maps of different areas, and you get corrosion of landscapes and corrosion of cliffs. So there is mapping updates, and that is all reference to the master reference, which is called sea level. Sorry, I mean sea level.
Yeah, I think we got to do a treatment on his ass.
Well, I mean, if Nathan didn't want to do it, I might do it.
Same thing. Yo, one deck. We must think the same, because I was thinking the same thing. If you want to do it, what's his name? Skeptic 936 is here. He showed me how to make videos with my phone, how he does them, and I would just freaking make a video and freaking do the same shit.
I mean, I've got I am on YouTube, but I don't fucking do anything with it. I don't even know anything about YouTube. I opened it fucking years ago, and then as DJ One Deck, and I was going to fucking post pictures of me mixing fucking tracks, but that never happened for some reason.
Start posting freaking treatments of freaking Earth Awakenings 2.3.
But then about 10 years ago, I was doing on my YouTube channel. Not that I've got a channel or do anything, but I was just posting it. And I nearly got a fucking sack from one of the companies I was working for then, because at that time, in that period in time, I am in and out of fitness all the time. I've told you this story. Sometimes I'm into my fitness, sometimes I fucking go off the rails. I was into my fitness, and I was trying to post to people that you can keep fit. If you can't get to the gym and keep fit, you can do it at work. That was my fucking thing at the time. That was going in my head. So if I was in a plant room, like it's a room with engines in there, compressors, you've got hydrosorb rail hanging from ceilings with cables running across. You've got fire extinguishers. You've got a framework of things. So what we're saying is, use work as your gym time. So I was posting things like I had there was a bar that ran across the fucking ceiling with
pull-ups.
I did pull-ups, so I videoed myself doing pull-ups. Yeah. Then I got the fire extinguisher off the wall and did bicep curls.
Yeah.
Then I got something else that was in the plant room and did some squats. Now I posted it and everyone fucking loved it. They thought, fucking hell, this is great. Like, just, if you can't get to the gym at night, just incorporate it into your working hour.
Except for your bosses, right?
Then my boss seen it, and I had the uniform where I was working at the time had their logo and the name of the company on it, and they went fucking mad. Delete that. We don't. I thought, fucking hell, you miserable bastards. They all started calling him Mr. Motivator.
That's what I used to do when I came home from prison. Like, I was working on a milk truck. We'd unloaded some supermarkets. We'd unload like freaking 70 cases of freaking milk. Now, if they're stacked up 5 high, the milk crates, I would separate 2 of them. So I'd have 2, one next to each other, sort of like 2 towers. And I would freaking get on top of them and do dips because I had to wait for the store to open up to bring the milk in. And the guy that I was working for, he didn't mind because, I'm there waiting. So I was doing dips between the milk crates. On another spot we went to where we had to wait, right across one of the doorways, I was doing pull-ups on a thing because I wanted to stay in shape. I was doing the same thing you were talking about.
Yeah. Well, that's it. But I posted that, and that was on my YouTube. But I didn't know how YouTube worked then. I just signed up, but I don't know if you've got to pay. I think you had a limited time that I could post something. I don't know if it was 3 minutes. So, I didn't pay any fucking extra money for extra things. I just did it for free. So I couldn't post like Nathan does, like a 2-hour, 3-hour slot. I'd have to go into it seriously. I was just doing it for a bit of motivation for people, and things like that.
Your boss said, "Take that shit down."
Take that shit down, Mr. Motivator, they call me. It's like slagging me off. I said, fucking hell, have you got a fucking sense of humour or what?
Yeah, that's funny.
Mr. Motivator. But when I say Mr. Motivator, there was a black guy, not that matters his colour, but years ago on one of the breakfast shows over in the UK, I think it might have been GMTV or something like that. He was called Mr. Motivator, big black guy, and he used to come on in the mornings, and he used to have this tight leotard on. You could see his big balls fucking bulging out, and he used to be called Mr. Motivator because in the morning he'd show you how to do star jumps, press ups, and he was on the morning show before you went out to work having your brew. Come on, let's get motivated. So that's what they were referring to me, oh fucking Mr. Motivator there. Trying to motivate everybody.
So listen, if Flatsy was watching that show, how would she be a...
Oh, Kiwi. Brian, you don't know Kiwi like I do.
So I'm not just a person to come in and handle the punctuation? Yeah. That's all you are, Flatsy. You did shit. Right? What did I do? I watched Nathan's Fix. And I wasn't good enough. I wasn't good enough watching it, so you're right. I didn't do nothing because I should have seen your scumbag asses a mile away.
Hey, but you can tell Brian's getting wound up, though, because what I heard last night, he's like, QB's like, oh, we don't need to know this. Shut the fuck up, Brian. You've said it 4 times. You're not listening, QE. You're not listening. I need to fucking say to you, you're missing the point, QE. Oh, Brian, shut the fuck up. No, I need to see this. Like,
well, he
Brian,
did say... He did say at one part, because Brian brings up the point, well, I got a problem because when Nathan wrote this and he was all gung ho about the book and it was great. Look at what he said. And so now how can it be shit? Q was like, you know what, Brian? Nobody's ever said that. Thank you.
Right, I'm sorry to interrupt. Do you guys want to have a quick listen to this video? It's the one I was talking about on the live show that I edited, and I've just managed to upload it. I just need to check it now. I've actually uploaded it.
Yeah,
if
man.
you're happy to listen.
100.
Yep.
Yeah, cool.
Yep.
I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, and keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. People lie to you. What do they lie to you about? I'll give you one straight example. Golden bullet. They tell you they want the one ring to rule them all. That is because, according to them, they want to wake the world up, right? Even in this discussion, we're describing sliding books across to a third party, unnamed in this particular example. Well, that's a exuberant display of you wanting to be more superior to the person that you slide the information to. I've imparted this information upon you. And this is a complete lie. What people really want is to be able to say, aren't I fantastic? That's it. That's what people really want. When they say they want a golden bullet, you go, okay, the golden bullet is, it was always being measured flat anyway, for everyone. Like, there aren't no exceptions to this statement of absolute fact. Earth was, is, and always will be measured flat. By everyone, in all circumstances, and without exception. There you go, you wanted a golden bullet. The only problem with the golden bullet is it makes the person holding the gun redundant. And they don't like that. People want to be valued. They want to see that their impartation, if that's the correct term, onto others is recognised. They want a swan song. They want a little fanfare and a band to play for them with their name in lights, with ticker tape parades for it. And it's kind of sad. Yeah? Know your place. Now, for me, I'm trying to say, well, what do I put as a positive spin on this when I look out the window and try and think about it? And then I go, what am I doing? I'm looking out the window and recognising God's creation. Not telling myself how fantastic I'll be for waking the world up if I sell 1 million copies of my book. That doesn't mean I haven't worked on it. It doesn't mean I'm not proud of it. It doesn't mean that it won't sell. It definitely will. It will generate me a revenue stream. Hopefully it'll be enough to keep the mortgage paid, which is all I really desire. But in terms of, do I want it to mean that my name goes down in history? No. Do I want it to be readable in 100 years and make people recognise that just looking out the window and recognising how beautiful the world is that you are in might be achieved by severing an attachment to a control narrative that's based on a foundational measurement of Earth's flat surface? So if that can be imparted on others, then I'll have done a good job. I don't necessarily expect that to be immediate. So I'm going to downplay it to a certain extent, especially getting closer to the release date. It'll come out without any fanfare. There's often people who build themselves up in terms of their own emotional attachment to their work, and they assume that they're going to suddenly set the world on fire. And I just don't want to, delude myself in that regard. I've seen amazing products get produced and then gone out and promoted them and failed to sell them. They've sold in relatively small numbers and then built up their credibility and esteem with users over a prolonged period of time through a lot of work. So I understand and appreciate that there's going to be a certain amount of effort that has to go into me promoting the book. When it comes out, I'll have to go out, knock on people's doors in metaphor and say, can you have me on your show and talk about this book? And hope that they'll read it and take it in, as opposed to just want to take the piss out of a flat earther. Now, I'm pretty good at gauging those things, but I will, as Neil says, go out and, we do have the means at our disposal to go out and promote things like this. So it will, but I just don't want to delude myself that I'm suddenly going to have my name in lights, that it's going to suddenly be some sort of swan song, or get me some sort of notoriety moving into the future. I don't think it's going to do any of those things. Hopefully it'll generate a small stream of income so I'm not as poor as everyone around me, and that's not without saying I want to stand on the shoulders of those people, but I just recognise it when it's happening. Everyone around at the moment, and if you're an audience member, you'll feel this as I say it, you'll feel the pinch, because everybody seems to be feeling the pinch. There's a lot of people who are struggling. We had Pearl on the other day. Part of her backstory is about being completely demonetised. You look at her and go, she's got 2.2 million viewers or subscribers on YouTube. I don't know about how many she's got on the other platforms, but she's got a story of being demonetized for whatever reason. And suddenly she's in a position where she's churning through her money to player and employees and staff that produce this YouTube content. And there's no revenue coming in, or very limited revenue from donations coming in. And you go, okay, so even for the person on the outside that comes along and watches one of her videos, sees she's got 2+ million subscribers and assumes she's on Easy Street. You go, no, you're never on Easy Street. If you're making comparisons to somebody else, then you're always going to feel like you're doing worse than they are. And if you're in tune with a community that is just humble people, often humble people fall on hard times. If you're one of those people watching, and you know you are, I'm not going to mention any names, but there's plenty of people around me that are struggling. You're like, I wish I had more money to help those people. You know, the amount of support I've had, I wish I could give it back. Occasionally I'll give someone a few bucks and go, I'll say the same thing, I really wish I could give you more. And I just can't. But hopefully that will change in terms of being a little bit better off because of an extra revenue stream that I've worked really hard to achieve. It's taken years. That's to say this book, when it comes out, is years in the making. Doesn't mean it's suddenly going to set the world on fire either. It just means that it's had a lot of turmoil to produce. It's been a long road to produce it. It's so perceived to be valuable that others want to steal it. So it's got a lot of weight up until this point, and it's not even come out yet. You can only carry on in your own path in the most honest way that you see fit, and hope that you're doing a good job for the people who are supporting you, and hope that you can support them in return. So it's nice to hear that Neil's, pleased for the... It is just a couple of bucks I've given him here and there. He obviously sees it as having a higher degree of value, and I'm going to downplay it because I'm not a rich man to offer that. But in my mind, the few bucks that I can throw around when I've got a positive bank balance are nothing compared to the amount of support I get from my panel when they're sat here day after day after day, achieving this bit. They're sat in front of a camera, entertaining an audience. That's not about the money. It's the whole whistle while you work philosophy, right? If you can enjoy what you do, who is it I heard say this the other day? It was a rapper. I can't remember, it'll come to me. There was a rapper that was saying this, and somebody was saying to me, you're working all the time. And it's like, yeah, whistle while you work. If you love what you do, it's kind of like you're not working. And because of the support I get from the people around me, I get that joy. Now, while I've got the corners of my mouth turning up saying this to camera, there's people in the audience that, like me, will be getting goosebumps from this because they feel that sense of community. And again, when somebody's stolen from you, yes, you lose a certain amount of time and a certain potential value that you could have ascribed to something that you could have been selling if it hadn't been stolen. But you go, but that isn't, again, the overarching importance. That sense of community, that feeling that you get that gives you goosebumps when you're talking about things like this is something that you get excluded from if you are deceitful. You're suddenly no longer taking part in something that's joyous for the people who are still taking part in it. There's a nefarious endeavour by cults that do the same thing. They try and impart that feeling onto their members. You need to look at things like Scientology to get an idea of what I'm talking about. Otherwise, there'd be no Scientologists. There'd be no cult members. But you've got to have that weaponized in a way, that feeling of belonging, that feeling of security that you get from being in a group with a common interest. Now, for us, I feel bad at the moment because I'm kind of shattering some of the communal bonds that have been built up over those 10 years by saying that we are actually kind of insignificant to the ends of the perceived subject. So that's flat Earth. When you recognise how flat Earth must be measured to achieve the so-called debate, you can only, if you have any degree of introspection, recognise your own insignificance. Right? Just to round this out as a point. In the book, when you're reading that, you'll hopefully, as a reader, get that sense, that kind of slight sense of foreboding that I'm trying to impart on the reader when they take this information in. That is to say, without me or you reading, the world would still have been measured flat. And that must be the case, even if you want to perceive that there's a circumstance where you can truly believe that you're on a ball. That would still require Earth to be measured flat to create that belief. For you to later shatter it and say it's not true, or before, during, and after that so-called recognition of a world that's spherical, you still had to impart flat Earth measurements on mathematics to achieve that cognitive state. So it makes us a little bit insignificant, a little bit redundant. And I know that there's people who are utterly hating me from my own side at the moment because I'm calling them conspiratards. And they hate that when you kind of make somebody go, even if I say I'm that conspiratard, I was looking at the pseudoscience of psychology and psychopathy and, subliminal messaging. Those sorts of things are very conspiratorial. It's easy for me to mock somebody who's talking about 9/11 truth or Sandy Hook when I looked at subliminal messages and psychopathy. So I'm trying to demean my own path to this subject by pointing out how a controlled opposition narrative's been put in place by having people like me, with my conspiratorial nature, investigate the subject of flat Earth so that I can argue with fart-sniffing, Batman T-shirt wearing wankers who want to believe in sky vacuums with rockets travelling around the moon in them. Well, those two groups can then take the pressure off a general public that doesn't have to value that information because the fart-sniffing dweebs are valuing it for them. So they don't have to invest the very expensive cognition in learning about that. And the guy who's come because he's taken that goose feeling of finding a community that realises the world's been lied to, those two groups can be set against each other and argue amongst themselves about whether or not Earth's spherical. Now, as I slowly describe what I did 2 years ago, which is, how do we climb out this scummy pool? Everybody in it seems to be a scumbag. How do we climb out into the flat plane and territory of normies? Well, the way you do it is by recognising that which all normies have been taught in the geography class. I appreciate there's a cognitive dissonance from the science class that says Earth's spherical, but your geography class taught you how flat it was all measured. Nothing's changed, but that means that we have to kind of leave behind an era of being conspiratorial. And I'm not going to do it without a tear in my eye. It was an exciting time, finding out all these perceived to be important conspiracy theories like 9/11 are exciting when you're in that moment as a community that recognises how Earth's not a sphere, but now recognising how Earth not being a sphere would require you build a sphere for it to not be based on flat Earth measurements means that I kind of feel like we have climbed out the pool. So we're in this little limbo area where it's kind of empty. We've metaphorically climbed back up the hill, but we've still got the knowledge in tow that Earth was and is and always will be flat when we get back up to the normie plateau. But it means that on the one hand we're outcasts because we're going to be immediately potentially shoving the normal guy into cognitive dissonance when we are just honest about how we appreciate the world's flat in geographical terms like they were taught. And most of us aren't going to be prepared to lie and say, yeah, Earth's a sphere, because we're just lying to ourselves. Most of us won't do that. So we're in this kind of limbo area up here. Down here in the scummy pond, you can still look back just over your right shoulder and see everybody arguing about how Earth is or isn't a sphere. As I said at the top of the show about reciprocal zenith angles, or how even though we measure it flat, it doesn't mean it is flat, or whatever rhetoric comes from the anti-flat Earth crew in that scummy pond we've just crawled out of. You can still hear them, but we have departed it, I feel, as a group. We're moving on to greater things. Now, from that perspective, I do use the book as a marker, as a waypoint, however you want to term it, a position in time where you can say, there, that marks the moment where we climbed out of the scummy globe Earth versus flat Earth pool and recognised it for what it is. A controlled way of having people who come from a conspiratorial background argue with dweebs that have highly valued heliocentrism. And it all gets dirty and scummy quite quickly. But that marks the point, the release of the book a couple of weeks from now. I do feel like it is not in transition, not like we're climbing up the hill, like we've climbed over the hill and gone, well, that was an era. And it wasn't a bad era. It was very exciting. It was full of a lot of scum as well. The pool is dirty now we look back at it. And we have kind of now got to brush that scum off ourselves and figure a way to communicate with the normal man that Earth is just as you were taught it in the geography class, measured flat.
Outstanding. Wow. That was from the other day?
That was suggested to be edited out actually by Surf Daddy. I don't know if he's around. But Surf Daddy sent me a message and said, why don't you edit this particular chunk out? and he even gave me a direction of which bits to remove. So I was like, okay, that's a no-brainer. So while Eleanor was in her trampolining class, I just hacked up what I'd already known to record. So half the problem with editing videos is finding the bit that you want, then editing it out, as in taking that as a chunk, putting it into an editing piece of software, and then trimming out the fat that you don't want. Well, 2/3 of that was already done by suggestion when Surf Daddy went, between 15 minutes and 27 minutes, this section, but minus this particular bit that's dissecting it in what you're talking about. Just get rid of those bits. I'm like, I can do that. So I just went straight to the minute mark, started recording, screen recording. Excuse me. And then I already knew once I was importing it, because I only get about an hour and a half between the class when I drop her off and pick her up again, to hack that all out. And I didn't do any transitions, so it's all one continuous shot of me, which is a bit boring visually, but, you know, there is still, to some extent, a limitation on my time, right? So yeah, that was easy. It was easy because it suggested doing it. And I've got another one as well that I haven't started editing, that when I was driving back and forth, the show was just playing out in the car, and I happened to go, oh, well, I'd quite like to trim that bit out. It would make a good shorts video. I can't even remember now what it was, but I've got something else in the hopper, which I'll also trim out. So, yeah, I just like that. The only problem is now that I'm back up against it. As soon as the publisher gets back in touch, you're then doing things, and you hope that it's just like, right, it's out now, right? 2 days, yeah? A day? How quick can you get it out? And instead it's like, no, we need to get this done. Can you do it? And you're like, here you go. And they're like, no, that's not quite right. You're like, what? You need to give it me like this. And so it goes on. It's just little things that are just delaying it. Now, I'm not going to moan too much. Like I say, when it's been several years, I can hardly moan about the final details. Because really, when it comes to things like this, there's a lot of importance on the details, right? The devil is in the details, as they say. But getting it nice, like polished and publish worthy, does take a little bit of extra finessing. And it's not a skill I've got. The publisher's got that skill. And it's not like these things can just come along because someone waves a magic wand. They do actually require a certain amount of work. You know, I'm sure Leonard attests to this first thing in the morning when I'm saying, can you get this to be in this resolution? I mean, I thought I'd managed it after not managing it. And then I'm still being told, no, it's not in the correct DPI. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And you don't know what you don't know, right? You're just trying to meet a standard in terms of this particular thing that I was trying to achieve. It was just a particular resolution by a particular DPI. I'm like, oh. But it just took forever. Just hopefully, I don't even know if that's been resolved. But these are just little things that are keeping it from being out tomorrow. But that said, these are the last things before publication, so very exciting. It's very, very soon. The book will be out imminently, you know. I think he put an arbitrary date of something like the 24th or the 25th to get the final sign-off, and then by the end of this month, May, it'll be released. I mean, that's, you know, not set in stone by any stretch of the imagination. It was just a rough guideline because I was pestering him. You know, what's the ETA? When do I think it's going to come out? And when he gave me the list of weasel words and things that might need doing, but might not, you're like, I see, when you add all these up, it might come out to the end of the month that it gets published, but it might not. You know, it might be that I'm at the end of May going, just a couple more weeks. Probably. Anyway.
Well, that answers our question.
I don't even know what question you're asking, to be honest, Neil.
Oh, we were having a great old time here, talking about how you're talking about crawling out of the pond and cleaning ourselves off. We were talking about crawling back into ponds.
Well, that's kind of why I wanted to play that clip, because I was listening, obviously, to you guys chatting away. And, you know, you want to embroil yourself in triangulation, as you put it, in that way. But I would put it slightly differently based on what you've been discussing, which is to say that while I'm talking about the exclusion of individuals that have stolen from me, you're kind of allowing them to continue to a certain extent living the flat earth debate dream vicariously through you, if that makes sense. So you're talking about doing a treatment, the what did you call it, Land of Misfit Toys 2.3, a treatment. Yeah. Right. Well, that allows these individuals to have your attention and critique, which is essentially their existing within the group vicariously as a consequence of your attitude towards them and your desire to respond to them. Do you know what I mean?
So no need for
Yeah, I see.
exposure. Just move forward.
Yeah.
Remove the scummy pawn from our lives.
Yeah, but it was funny because we're just saying that one deck we brought it up like he's listening to him freaking dog these people, and he's doing the same thing.
Yeah, that's the funny part. I roll on the floor as well. It's like you want to talk about land of misfit toys and bad arguments when it's just not even an argument and in a debate, and you keep going on, but you're guilty of it yourself with all your projection.
Did you guys do a treatment on the Ghost Hunters 2.4? Did you guys do that treatment?
What about Nessie in 2.5?
Well, we did come to an agreement.
Did you do a treatment on the Nessie guys that you're really concerned with? You're concerned with the Nessie guys, aren't you? I mean, am I missing something?
We did come to an agreement. Hold on. We did come to an agreement that we're not going to talk about it on the show no more because that's what they want. That's it. Over.
I mean, I keep saying this to you. Do whatever you want to do, right? It's an open door. So people sat around a table in a bar aren't going to get told that no religion and politics in this bar. Talk about whatever you feel free to talk about.
Yeah, but the problem is, Nathan, I've noticed that there are people in the audience, let's say, that are waiting to hear what Q has to say, then waiting to hear what we have to say, and then and I don't think we should entertain them anymore.
You mean
it is what it is? They did what they
drama?
did.
Is that what you're saying? People like drama.
Yeah. So why give it to them? He did what he did. That's it. He's got to live with that forever.
I'm here to produce videography, right? As a YouTuber, Neil. So why do people like drama? I don't know, but it fuels views, it fuels entertainment. There's 3 levels, right? And I've said this several times about the book, but this applies here, right? There's people who are only interested in other people. Now, their fortunes or misfortunes, their betrayal, their loves, their losses. Some people are interested in people. Other people, slightly higher up the pecking order, are interested in events, times, dates, things that have happened. Discussion about those. And then at the top, you've got the concepts and ideas above the events and above the people. Well, when you're at the lowest of low brow in terms of what next man thinks about what I'm doing, I do have to roll my eyes. I'm like, who cares? What is important to me is this conversation. I appreciate that to have it, it's got to involve others. And you're saying, why have the drama? Well, because people are interested in it, and because you're interested in it, right? That's what I mean by vicariously. It is through you that engagement with the other people that the separate to them audience are interested in. Well, that's a vicarious connection afforded by an interest that you hold. I don't know. You seem to struggle with this, Neil, because you're in 2 minds, right? You're like the ex-wife that wants to let go, but ultimately still has to get involved with the ex-husband because of the kids. And you're still saying, I never want to see her again. I'm never going to mention her name again.
Just don't like the lying. That's it. I just don't like people portraying bullshit. And he is calling me a sewer rat midget, so, that does get my balls twisted.
But if you weren't listening, you wouldn't know that, right? Now, don't get me wrong. I appreciate that someone would send you a message. If you're genuinely indifferent, you don't care about the message. You just don't care. You move on. Now, I get that with time, it heals all wounds. But this is a benefit to me because I'm so fickle. It's like, easy come, easy go. In the same way as to love bomb somebody, you've got to tell them about their significance and importance. As you probably appreciate now, I'll reiterate. I go the other direction and go, I'd still have a show if you weren't here. No offence to you, it don't matter if you want to bugger off, right? Now, that kind of fickle nature, I'll give you a better example. Do you remember Flatsoid coming back a couple of weeks back, or maybe even a couple of months back? Yeah. Hey, Flatsoid, how's it going? I can't even remember why you pissed me off last time. I'm so fickle, I don't care. Because be here, not be here, it doesn't really matter because I didn't really care about you. And between then and now, who cares? I didn't give you much thought. So I can't really remember, in sincerity, why, for whatever reason, we fell out of favour. Because I'm fickle. Now, the same applies to somebody who's betrayed you. Now, I'm not saying I'll be like, hey, QE, how's it going? If he was to come back on the show. You know, it'd be, hey, thief, how's it going with my material that you stole? That would be the attitude. It'd be like, you got to prove things. I'd be like, I'm not proving anything, right? I'll say what I want, regardless of your desire for me to provide an evidentiary standard. And I'm just going to look down the camera and call you a thief. And everyone around me is going to hear me doing it. What are you going to do? Demand evidence? No, I'm good. You're a thief. Yeah? I don't want to or need feel the need to justify what I'll call this person if they were in my presence. But that would be if I was to be giving it my concern and consideration. Now, I'm doing that for your benefit because obviously we're in this discussion. But I don't. I'm not pondering what I might say to an individual because that means they're in my head, right? They're living rent-free. So genuine indifference is I'll just get to the point. Genuine indifference is genuine indifference, as in you don't care. You're not giving it a second thought. You're not worried about anything that's happening. And when people pass you information about it, it's kind of inconsequential to you. You're like, I don't care. Why are you showing me this? Well, because I want blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't care. Go away. I couldn't give a shit. But I want blah, 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 blah. Like, you don't seem to get it, right? Your concerns are not my concerns. No matter how much you tell me about them or insist that they're important or tell the world around us, now that for whatever reason we're together, you're telling the world around us how important what you say is. All right. I mean, maybe you'll convince everyone else, but me, I don't care. Like, literally, I couldn't give a shit. Yeah? Make sense?
Yeah. Where's One Deck still here? Did you hear? Did you hear him do Flashy? Oh, that was hysterical.
No, he's not here.
Comes in with a laugh. That's funny.
Yes. Indeed.
Flashy.
Yeah, look.
Yeah, I
right.
get what you're saying. I understand totally.
But the minions who get love bombed are also victims, right? So as much as you're taking the piss out of Flatsy, she's just another victim of a narcissist. Normally, the victims that hang around are the most empathic. Yeah? That's the soul-sucking nature of narcissists. They seek out people who are empathic, and they can then have their ear and poison those ears, right? Love bombing is a form of that, right? Pouring poison in someone's ear.
Wait, what was that word you just said?
Which one?
Empath? Empathic,
yeah. It's the other end of the
That's
extreme.
What Brian accused me. In my last message, he says I'm an empath.
Oh, I love it. Although Brian is a basic bitch, he is full of projection. Oh, dear. As he tells us how we should see it from QE's perspective. What, like, have some empathy for QE there? Oh, what a burning bright light of empathy you are, Brian, you basic bitch. Very amusing, you know. But again, another example of I couldn't give a fuck. Like, who? Brian? Yes, right? Just some nobody. And all of these people, I was just about to say, are all still just victims of narcissistic love bombing. That's it. You're like, pff, okay, they got their name in lights, right? They got credit in the book that was stolen from me when it got reworked. You're like, no, man, you're not relevant to the story. You're just a chunk of text about a random person in a book by a load of nobodies, with the main characters being described by a third party that isn't named as an author. You're like, and it's shrouded in this fact that they've thieved a draft from me that they claim they should have got authorship on but ultimately haven't stolen. Like, I'm listening to Len summarise it, I'm like, again, I'm rolling my eyes. You're like, man, you just have to leave people enough rope and they'll string themselves up by it. Again, another reason why I'm like, I don't need to justify anything here, really. It's like, if people come along and compare my book to my book that was stolen, you're like, yeah, they're similar, eh? Yeah, I had to write it twice. The first bit got nicked before it was completed. Fortunately for me, it had this absolutely horrendous veneer shoved on top of it, and it's kind of a bit shite now. So I wouldn't want my name on that shit, let's be honest. But there we go. It cost me a lot of time, though. It's cost me money, which is very unfortunate, as that was the main purpose of producing it, and the same reason that they managed to con me into a position of losing it to them, having them be able to thieve it from me. Like, it's just unfortunate. But now we're having this discussion. I know it's about individuals that are dead to me, but the real importance here is just us having this discussion, right? We are interacting, admittedly, with a little bit of me moaning about you being triangulated, or me being triangulated via you. But so be it. As I've said previously, this is part of the book that's upcoming. It's part of a chapter. So talking about it is something that I'm not averse to. It's like, somebody's going to ask me about it at some stage when they read through chapter 20 or whatever it is. They'll be like, I was reading through the betrayal chapter and it alluded to you having written a book that was stolen. I'll be like, yeah, this book, in its 5th draft format, when it was at its skeleton stage, was robbed by a couple of thieving bastards. You know what I mean? And I'll describe it as it was, without a hesitation in mind. But it means that I've got to get familiar with that particular rhetoric, because it's part of the book's journey of discovery in humanitarian terms, when you're coming to that layer of people, events, ideas, and at the pinnacle you've got the idea, to the person who's new, of a flat earth, cemented in fact with measurement by the end of the book. But at the bottom of the rung, to keep people interested, you've got to have this kind of tumultuous baptism of fire, whatever you want to describe it, for the book's inception, or for it to be, I think conception would be the better word, for the book to be conceived. You've got to have a story to tell, not just random blocks of text about, this is about Brian, this is about Flatsy. Boring. It's got no relevance to events within the book. So it's a shame, really, because it would have been nice to have gone, yeah, that's definitely something that I would have liked to have had my name on. But you look at it after it's been ripped up and turned into some shite about some spinster who can't keep a man, and you're like, how disappointing. It's not gonna set the world on fire and go down into the annals of history. You've got yourselves a 2-star book. That's a disappointment. I'd have hoped you'd have done more with the foundations that you stole from me. But there we go. But you like my clip, eh?
Yeah, you're gonna put it out as a short.
It's 15 minutes long, so no, it won't go out as a short.
Well, you know what I mean. One of them short videos you do.
No, I've got a different clip about something else that I'll trim into a short later, probably this evening.
I call them shorts because when I put them on, I'm expecting a 2-hour show and it's over in 15 minutes. I'm like, what the hell happened?
It's going to be part of a re-up in the evening for you or the afternoon for us.
Yeah, CC knows what I'm talking about. A show will come on, I'll be all ready to moderate, and it's over in 15 minutes. I'm like, what the hell happened? It's over?
As soon as I'm done putting in the introduction and the welcome, the video's over.
What the hell happened here, man? No, but that's good. I like the way you detailed all that information. Very well said. That is like where we're at. So you hit it right on the money. I agree with Surf Daddy.
Cool. Well, with that in mind, I'm going to disappear and do that editing.
contradicts that. I'm spitting flat facts and that. And I know you don't like that. Google Maps is flat, it presents elevation profiles like that. I'm a spitting flat earth king. Sentence has a ring, doing my own thing. If earth was a big roast chicken, factually finger licking chicken, we just got the measurements missing. I'm spitting eggs and begs, begging the question lesson. I've said it before, time after time. I'm the spitting flat earth king of rhyme.